Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series, and today we'll be checking out the work of cucucucucumber. Interesting name. For the sake of this episode, we'll just call them cucumber. Cucumber. Now they don't have a lot of work on their media tab here on X, but I think it's enough for me to review. So I do like, just from the thumbnail view, there's just something it's interesting because it's painterly. Like when you zoom in, you can see more of the brush strokes, right? Focus more on the edges, you will see a little bit of that jitter that's happening on the sides. So it does give you that more painterly look. Like they're not trying to make it too clean. And then but when you zoom out kind of in this view, so it's cucumber, it's a little more let me just change something quickly. I'm back. I just opened one of my extensions here, so let me just try opening this in a new tab. Oh, that's it. Yeah, it looks a little clean, but even, you know what, from this view, even it's still, I can still feel that sort of grittiness, that sort of rougher look in the sides or in the edges of these brush strokes. Let me go back to the hair where we focus more on the head. I really do like this sort of breakdown that's happening. Like, look at how large this thing is, and you will see the same value kind of here. And even within those shapes, there's subtle hue variations, or value variations. Like these parts are going to be a bit more gray, more dark, or darker. It's just nice to, it still feels very painterly to me, which I do have a bias for. So seeing this kind of look is pretty interesting. Yeah, now as you go further away from the main subject, this character in the middle, it does get more loose. Obviously, or maybe this is just an incomplete kind of thing. Who knows? Wait, does this person have a tail? Like this thing in the back. I think she's like a dragon or something, maybe. I do see elf ears. Maybe she has a bit of a fang. So maybe there's that. So she's kind of grabbing this sort of oil gas thing. Who knows? Obviously her top here is kind of falling down, kind of hot. But and even the way the shoes were drawn, they're not too complex. But there's a lot of shapes there that I think makes it look a little more interesting. I'm trying to think of another artist that does things this way, but I'm sure we reviewed a couple in the channel. Let me just drink some coffee. Let me see this one too. It's for a friend, apparently. This one's darker. We'll see both. I think this is the more saturated one. It's a little more alive. In this case, they are showing off some of the line sketches or the line sketch underneath. Or maybe it's because it's just incomplete and they plan on painting over it. But you know what? From afar, it already looks complete, and I think that's a good example of getting the foundational stuff right. Focusing on the 20% that makes up the 80%. I think it's called the Pareto principle. Basically, there's a certain small percentage of something that if you just fix that, everything else sort of just follows that, and you've solved most of your problems. Basically, for this piece, all you have to do, if you wanted to, is just render it. But for the general lighting, a theme, composition, it's pretty much done and perfect. So she's some kind of wolf person, wolf ears. By the way, I do know furries in Japan, they're a bit different. They're not full body, unlike here in the US. A furry or fur people, they tend to have the ears maybe that are kind of of an animal, but the face and the body are still very humanoid. But the search for furry in the Western sphere, they're more like full body like creatures at that point. So I do find it very interesting. There's also a new anime. I haven't really watched it, but I do like the concept. The concept of the whole thing. It's like a bunch of there are people, but there are humanoids who run like races. So they essentially run like a horse. They have a tail of a horse or something like that, and it's a fun anime to me. It looks like I haven't seen the full show, but it looks fun. This one can work too. I do notice even if everything is grayish or more desaturated, there's less of that blue. The pink here, or the skin tone from the underlighting in the face, it's a little more like pronounced compared to, say, this piece. So the warmths are speaking more in this figure. So, you know, I get why they have two versions. And it shows you that it's good to have, or the advantage of having layers is you can sort of create multiple setups. Like in a new sort of folder of layers, you have like a warmer lighting setup. In a different folder, a different version, you have like a colder, cooler, a bluer lighting setup. So it's nice to have different versions instead of doing it all in like one layer or in less layers. Let me see this one too. Let me open this in the new tab. Full version. Okay, this image is pretty big. Right? I do see, yeah, the brushes they use tend to be a bit more textured as well. But in the... like, there's a lot more like teeth in some of the brushes. They look very like oil pastel crayon like to me. And when they do their shapes, they're very... I don't see a lot of like smooth rendering, meaning it's like you see a lot of soft brushes being used or a lot of gradient. It's more like they tend to chunk out the shapes into like these sorts of things. Very Leyendecker-ish in a way. And it's very shapy. You know, there's not a lot of like mixer brushes or smudge tools being used. Yeah, I do like this painting style. I mean, even this like tree or this leaf in the background, pretty cool. I like it. And yeah, everything is painted. Everything is just done raw. Because, you know, some people like to like bring a photo in just to start off the painting, but you do it in the background as sort of a base for certain textures, colors. But I think this guy just paints raw. I do see the round brush being used on this side. It's a basic round brush with some opacity in it. Yeah, it looks very like dry media crayon-like. You know what? I do have an artist that I believe I reviewed, but I'm gonna link it or write their name down in the description below. So this is more of a close-up. Cool. Oh, there's also another person here. I can see like the head and maybe some clips in their hair. Pretty cool. This one's kind of hot. Let me open this one too. And then a close-up maybe. Right? Most of it is actually kind of gray. Like the clothing, the body even, the background, lots of grays here. But they know how to pair it with some colors. And their colors even, the hues, like the yellows, the oranges here for the hair. They have quite a bit of a... They have some hue variety. I see some greens here, some purples. Greens, purples. Some oranges for the subsurface scattering maybe. around this Terminator line where the light meets the shadow. And even obviously the hair has way more of that like variety. I just like the way the hair is rendered. Everything is sort of, let me just show you, chunked out kind of simply in very basic shapes, but within that like silhouette, you have like these other shapes kind of happen there. And they look so, and they're all like chunked out in a very aesthetic kind of way. And I've seen a lot of like time lapses of people rendering hair kind of like this, and there's often like a lot of retries because it just take like you won't be able to get it in like one go. It takes quite a bit of trial and error, experimentation to find something that looks somewhat aesthetic. I do see a little bit of the line drawing in the back, seeping through a bit. Sorry, but the lines they use, it's more like a pencil. It's not like an ink pen. I do like the eyes too. We can zoom in a little bit. I like this look. It's very sort of in a way it looks slightly traditional. I'm guessing it's because it has a bit of that texture feel in some of those edges. Some of the brush strokes are like an opacity brush, but some of the like these lines in the areas in light, they tend to be a little more like textured for some reason. I'm not sure if it's from like a mixer brush or something. I'm guessing it's like a painting brush. And they definitely, I do see like a slight rake brush use here, but the opacity is very light, so you're gonna have to zoom. Oh wow, we do see a bit of under boob, pretty cool. And I do see like, do you see this part over here at the bottom of their like, or in their belly? You see like an overlaying of strokes because of the opacity of the brushes, so I do like seeing that too. So there's kind of a combination here. Some parts are kind of like super solid like this, right? They're very opaque, almost like they're using a gouache paint or something, and then you have stuff like these where it's more like opacity buildup. So that contrast, that combination, and some special effects brushes. You can see it here with the rake brushes, very light opacity, even in the background. Wow, I like it. Now for the orange part, again, I'm not sure why. Maybe there's a term for it, but I know when it happens in the skin, it's called subsurface scattering. Like when the light seeps beyond or goes beyond the skin, it kind of glows a bit, so that's why you see like an orange. But in this case, it's in the actual clothing. I'm not sure why it's orange, or maybe it's more of a stylistic choice. Anyway, I do like this one. May be my favorite one because it's hot. Okay, let's focus on this one. This one's more of a I think it's the same character, very quick sketch. But I like how some artists, like, even though most of their body of work is sketches, I just like them more compared to artists who have like super finished pieces. It just feels a lot more rawer to me. Rawer, just more real, more direct. And I think this is a common sentiment in the the art community, right? People, even you don't even have to be an artist. There's just something about something that's less refined. It reminds me of I think it's called wabi sabi. Hopefully I'm right. Basically, it's a Japanese sort of concept of allowing the imperfections to be part of the thing and not trying to smooth everything out. You just sort of let it like you use the imperfections and it's part of the artwork. Like there's a grace in it. I think that's the concept. Hopefully I'm right. Oh, by the way, I do recommend a book. It's called Design Fuck. I forgot the book's name, but it's just search for design principles. I have like a pocket version. Side note, one of the pages was actually ripped when I bought it. I did not know it was ripped, but I only found out when I was when I already bought the book. So that sucked pretty bad. I may buy the bigger one just because I want to see more context. So interesting. Let's just open all of these images in their own tab here. So it's the same character but just different poses, I believe. So these two are like close-ups of this. Let me see the bigger one. So we have some sketches over on this side. Pretty cool, pretty cute. And I do like it when artists show like entire sheets of drawings like these. The drawings you see on the right-hand side, where it's just a bunch of sketches in this format. And seeing it all like compiled, it just shows you that there's an amount of work you have to do behind the scenes that most people don't see, kind of lead to this level of quality. So I do like seeing that. Let me just focus on the zoomed in version. So look at that. Oh. Again, it still has that sort of textured look, focus on the edges, even if it's kind of clean, meaning you don't see so many textures within the actual shape. You do see the textures kind of in the edges. They're a bit more gritty, more jittery. Nice feet. Yeah. So there. Oh, what is she holding? It's like a bag of like a bear with like an eye with multiple tongues. Interesting. So it's kind of combining both the clean kind of graphic rendering look. Just think, I think Lucia something. But they're using a brush. Basically, it's a brush that's very solid in the middle, but in the edges, it does jitter a bit. So it kind of leads to this more. I think you'll see this in like gouache paintings the most, where the center of it is gonna be very clean, but in the edges you do see that jitter. I do like it. You know what? There's a little bit of line work showing through. I'm guessing it's from the original drawing, maybe. Again, the hair, it's just like so beautifully. They take away the body, the face. It's so like prettily done. I think you will know when you're good at shapes, when you can draw. Like if you know how to make a bunch of random shapes, if you can make that look good, I think you're in a different league of artists. And I think the best way to demonstrate this is in two major areas where a lot of this randomness can happen. Number one is going to be the clothing, basically the folds, and the hair is the second one. It's just nice to see. I mean, there is some structure there. Obviously, folds work a certain way. How the hair flows works a certain way, but there's a bit of randomness that's happening there. So I think it's a perfect place for you to play around with, you know, creating a lot of aesthetic shapes. Let me see the other version. Look at this shit. Oh, come on. Oh, look at that nice tail, nice feet. Again, when you zoom in, zoom out, it's fairly clean. Zoom in, you do see those wonderful textures, especially in the edges. Oh, look at that. Oh. And that hair is wild. And by the way, hair can be used to help in your composition. We've seen this with a lot of, I forgot their names now, but we've reviewed like a batch of these like Korean artists who do like this super highly rendered stuff, and a lot of them will use hair to help with the not just design but the composition of their like thing. I mean, even stuff like, you know, Superman, you know how these superheroes they tend to have like capes, so that's their version of hair, right? So it helps with the composition sometimes. And I know for some people, I've heard comic artists say this. Coffee. Sometimes to save time from rendering or drawing some parts of the body, say the back, they'll just draw the cape. Because it's just much more convenient. So it's not always like a design thing. It's a design thing in the sense that they want to design less. So anyway, the point is hair can be a tool as well. Oh, so it wasn't a tongue. It's like a tentacle. I can see it here. I think it's a teddy bear with some tentacles. When it comes to their colors here, it's kind of basic. You have like some light yellows or light browns, some blues, but that's it. They're not into it's a very. I think it's because they're focusing more on the design. This one, let me find this one. This one feels more like an illustration. So for this kind of piece, you're more likely to be playful with the colors, the hues, the values. Here, I think they're focusing more on the design of the character. Right, the front view, the back view. Come on. I do like the even at the edge you do see a little bit of that line work, but it's not like super tight. Reminds me of another artist we reviewed. I'm forgetting their name now. God, but basically, oh shit, maybe Wenjun or these kinds of artists where when they do draw, it's like a basic round brush. Sometimes it doesn't even have like pen pressure. Maybe they'll add like a little bit of that texture to make it like jitter a bit, but it's kind of boring. If if all you have is like the sketch itself, it can look boring. But when you start adding even a little bit of color, it starts to like pop out and look good. Let me see this one. So this one's a little more like quickly done. Some practice and some drafts. Maybe I will finish them all. And yeah, what's so cool about this, seeing these types of things, is you don't have to finish all of your illustrations. Like when you do something, you don't have to go all the way. You can just do these sorts of quick drafts to explore some ideas, or maybe you have like something in your mind right now that you feel like you just need to draw. Try to jot it down quickly. You don't have to fix it all the way, render it all the way, because you can always revisit these things later on. Yeah, so check out the work of, let me just end this with this page. Oh, I don't like, oh, come on. So we'll end the review here with Cucumber. I will link this page, this X/Twitter page in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.